Hey guys, welcome to Tuesday at Two Lines. Super excited about the live stream tonight. Been thinking about it all afternoon, prepping for it this evening. I've got a bunch of special things. One, we have company. John Mark crashed the live stream. Hey, oops. Let's kill the audio on that. Yeah, there we go. Sorry about that, guys. I have to keep track of what's going on here. Lots of things to talk about, some things, exciting news for the channel, and we'll jump into that here in a minute. But I don't know what all's going on in the chat. I'll take a look and see. Gosh, the chat's been busy. Hey Dan, hey George, welcome. What's up? Hey Alex, what is the ideal MDF thickness for wood track? We'll go ahead and jump in on that. I don't know. I have not done a lot of research. My guess is it needs to be thin enough that you can actually get it to bend if you're doing any high banks and corners. So I would say that you're probably looking at 3/8 to 1/2 inch max. I don't think you would need anything any more than that. I don't know what the best thickness is. If anybody else has some ideas in the chat, please share that information with Alex. Let's see, who else do we have in? Gene. Welcome, Gene. Welcome, George. I think I already said that. Area 51. Hey, Gladstone. All is well in Northern California. Awesome. Thanks for joining us tonight. Let's see here. I've had to set up for the last 2 weeks now, and I'm loving it. Yep, great. Welcome to the hobby. It is so much fun. Glad that you are enjoying your layout. Dan, let him know all the material and tools he needs to build it are at Slot Car Corner. George is already evangelizing for scratch building in the chat already. I love it. Hey, Gary Collins, welcome. Gene is running Career Digital. You will enjoy the digital. I will tell you, though, Gene, as you get further in this, you'll probably want to dabble in analog just because chipping cars gets expensive. And, but we talk a lot about that on this channel. So a lot of fun. This channel is very mag-friendly. That's we run both here, magnet and non-magnet, digital and analog. Let's see who else we got. Sunday Slots is that Billy or Amanda or both? Hope you guys are doing well. Hey Raul, welcome. Hey Jim Anthony. Jim was a guest last night on the stream on Raul's stream, Conquest Racing. If you haven't checked that out, go follow Raul at Conquest Racing. Hit the subscribe button so you get notified anytime he goes live. And then George, Area 51 Raceway, is on that live stream as well. And if you're not following George, you're missing out on a ton of information about scratch building. So, but we had Jim Anthony on, and Jim shared his some of his scratch building collection and some of his favorite cars, and it was great. Conquest said, Roll said he added 5 new spots on the World of Slots map. That's awesome. That's great. Area 51 shared wood track wiring kit. That's a link there. So,
Dusty wanted to know what I was running.
Oh, Dusty, you wanted to know what car John Mark is running on the track. This is the beautiful Sunoco Ferrari 512M by Slotted. It is a beautiful, beautiful car. Hey, George, welcome. So that's what John Mark is running. So that's what I want to tell you guys. I've got some cool stuff that I've added to the live stream. And so let's check out the track cam. And I got a surprise with the track cam as well. It can be mobile. So, and I also have some audio going on out there to track so we can actually hear the slot cars. I'll turn that on the background. If that gets too annoying, let me know. But yeah, so we've got a track cam that's mobile. I can move around. So here in a little bit, we'll check that out. So I'm excited about that. We can watch John Mark. Maybe John Mark and I'll do some racing. but we'll see how that changes the live stream, if it does. Dan, hey, Sunday peeps. Hey, Gene, thanks. Sunday Slot Guards, hey, guys. Bernard, hey, Bernie. Hey, man, sorry we missed racing on Sunday. I hope it went well. Hopefully you do that again someday. We would love to come down and check out your layout. I spent the entire day in a board meeting from about 1:30 on. So, yeah, it was a long day, so we missed it. Phil Deddy, welcome. Phil, do you like that? I wonder why that's sitting there. Imagine that. I'll talk about that in a minute, too. Nick, welcome. Good evening. This is going back to the MDF question. Half inch. That sounds right to me. I know that George is preparing to build his own wood track, so he probably has researched the heck out of that. So, hey, Shotgun Dave, welcome, man. Appreciate you hanging out on the live stream. Dusty, you're supposed to be here, man. You guys were crashing. You and John Mark are supposed to be racing back here, but I'm glad you jumped in on the chat, man. Hopefully you're enjoying working in the wood shop tonight, getting some beautiful. My brother, he has an Instagram account. It's Dirt's Custom Calls, and he makes coyote calls, and they're absolutely beautiful. So if you have a chance, you need to go check that out. It's awesome. He does amazing work. Let's see here. And there's John Mark. Somehow he's racing and adding to the chat all at the same time. Hey, Matt Hathaway. What's up, man? Good to have you this week. We got to meet Matt a few weeks ago at Cincy Slots. He drove down from Dayton. Had an awesome conversation, man. You got me. I was all excited when I left that night. Yeah, we'd love to get to your track sometime. So it's funny. We're getting invites to lots of people's tracks. My wife's going to start wondering what's going on. But I'm excited about getting out and trying other layouts. So, hey, Ronan, welcome, man. Guys, if you think about it, give us a thumbs up if you're enjoying the live stream. I appreciate it. Let's see who else. Hey, John, welcome. This makes 2 days in a row. I know. I feel like hopefully we're not creating too many live streams for people to keep up with. I know that people have lots to do and they can't think about slot cars all the time, but maybe about 85% of the time they can. So I try to stay away from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for the most part. But we kind of got Mondays and Tuesdays locked up. And with Dave Kennedy's on Sunday, you have lots of conversations you can jump in. Then you got the worldwide slot car guys on Tuesdays as well. I think it's on Tuesdays. So yeah, you have lots of choices. So the fact that you guys are choosing to spend time here at Two Lines, I am very appreciative. Hey, Steven, welcome. Alex, that's why we're here, man. Happy to share information, and would love, if you start building, and we'd love to see progress, pictures or videos. And Gary Collins, we are mag friendly. Yeah, we run, when we run digital, we like to run magnets. Digital is chaos anyway on the track when you get more than two cars. So you might as well have some magnets. So what's how much running? Okay, I'm way behind, aren't I? So Matt, Ronan, just Bruce. Thanks, Lewis Center. Welcome from Lewis Center. Who else? Dave, welcome. You just got your slotted Ferrari Sunoco in the mail today. That's a happy day for you, man. That's a great looking car. It is wonderful. Yeah, man. It's okay, Dust. It's all right. We'll catch up sometime. Bernard, it was boring. I'm guessing it was tough for guys to get there on Sunday. So, Jim Anthony, Sunoco Ferrari will sell it quick. I agree. It will. Joseph Lamb. Hey, Marty, I just started my Carrera YouTube channel. Yeah, guys, go check out Joseph's channel. I'll look it up after the stream, man. And if not, send me a link just so I don't forget. Dusty Slacker. Dan, you obviously know my brother. Hey, Tim. Thanks for showing up tonight, man. Tim Smith. Home Racing World. Right on. Hey, Harry. Welcome, man. Glad to have you on the live stream. I need to talk to you, man. George has got me all excited about doing some scratch building, and I've watched probably 100 of your videos. So much great information. I'm excited about jumping into a scratch build, but once I jump in, I might have some questions. So I'm glad you've got so much content out there for us to refer to. Joseph Marty shared details on the webcam you're using. Okay, just a little bit about my setup. My main camera is a Sony A6400 with a Sigma 16 millimeter fixed 1.4 lens. So that's why I get pretty decent pictures. We were playing with lighting tonight, and I need to add a little bit more front lighting. But then my webcam is actually, if I go to the track cam, let me bring it up. It's actually my iPhone using Epoch Cam to do wireless into Ecamm Live, which is what I use to live stream. And so it's really, that's a new test. We'll get up and test it here in a minute and kind of give it a walk around on my track. I had some people reach out just this last couple days asking for the plan for my layout. And I'm thinking about changing it up a little bit because we're starting to run no magnets, and it crosses over itself a couple times. There's some nightmare areas for visually and to marshal. So we're looking at maybe making some changes. But Joseph, that answers your question about what I'm using to live stream and my camera setup. Maybe I'll do a video about that. I'm not really a tech gear channel. I'm a slot car channel, but I think a lot of guys that jump on my live stream immediately ask, "Hey, what are you doing?" So Daryl, who is behind me, that is John Mark Hall behind me, and he's running his Elva right now, just trying to get some laps in. He's still a little tentative back there on it, so he needs to jump on the throttle. Hey, Ghost Daryl. Slot cars or wife? That is a hard one. Thanks, Harry. Hey, Bruce. Welcome. X-Head Rasta 17. Are you headed to Cincy Slots to race this week? We are still trying to work that out if we were going to make it or not. Hey, Rise. Welcome from Melbourne, I think. You're in Australia. Yep, Sigma Prime 16 millimeter 1.8. I think it's a 1.4. Yeah, I'm on 1.4 right now. So yeah, it's like the video blogger special lens. Like about 4 years ago, everybody had that lens that was doing vlogging. So yeah, Bruce, welcome. Josh Reed, tell John he needs to send it. Josh Reed says you need to send it.
I'm sending it right out of the slot. I need a wood guide.
He does need a wood guide in that Elva. So I'll pick one of those up maybe Thursday from you, Bruce, if I make it down to race. Steve, Main Street Racing in Windsor, Vermont, has produced a tire truer that is made here and kicks NASCAR. That's cool. Hey, Lionface, welcome. So yeah, man. Here, I'll save John Mark the embarrassment of coming out of the slot. I'll jump back to this mainstream. So, guys, super excited, and I teased it last week in one of my videos. I have a channel sponsor, and I need to tell. I don't want to spend a bunch of time on this, but I'm super excited about this. A friend of mine here in Chillicothe has a coffee shop. It's Rost Coffee, and I bumped into him in the shop a couple weeks ago. And back at Christmas time, Santa Claus brought his boys a slot car track, and it's the 4-lane AFX track that's out right now. and they were having a blast with it. And so I'm like, hey, you need to come over and check out my layout. And a couple of weeks ago, we had a conversation about what it would take to set my track up at his coffee shop some Sunday afternoon and sponsor like a kids' day to come in and teach people about the hobby and let them enjoy slot cars, because they were having so much fun, and they watch the YouTube channel. And I don't know if Trent's watching tonight. Trent, if you're watching, give us a shout out. But on Thursday last week, he said, "Hey, you got 5 minutes to talk?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And he said, "I want to sponsor your channel. I love what you're doing. I'm super excited about what you're trying to do for slot cars in the hobby, and be a voice." And I was telling him a little bit about the YouTube channel and just how excited it's been over the last couple months. And he said, "All right, Roast Coffee is a sponsor." I'm like, "Awesome. What does that mean?" And so I'm going to be giving away some coffee, because this isn't all about me. I'm a guy. One of my other hobbies is coffee. I have an espresso machine upstairs in my kitchen. I make a latte every morning before I go to work, and I use roast beans. This is the Brazil. This is a single origin bean. The notes are like chocolate, molasses, sweet cream. Fantastic coffee. It's the best coffee I've ever had. And I've tried lots of different beans in my espresso machine, and they're great. But so he said he wanted to he wanted to help me out. And so by helping me out, I'm helping you out. If any of you guys are coffee guys, I don't mean for this to become a big long commercial, but if you're coffee guys, say coffee in the comments, and then after this video, just mention that you love coffee. And if you love coffee, I'm going to be giving away, 3 or 4 bags of coffee, and I'll send them out to you. I'll reach out. I'll do kind of a random thing from all the guys that just mentioned that they love coffee. And then we can talk about whether you want whole beans or ground coffee or whatever. So, for my channel, Trent said, I'll throw his logo up here. Trent said that if you go to https://roastcoffee.com, he sends coffee all over the world, from right here in Chillicothe, Ohio. It is amazing coffee. He has some selection: Brazil, I think Costa Rica, Ethiopian, there's El Salvador. There's quite a few different types of coffee. It talks about that on his website. But he is going to give you, for your first order, 25% off your first order or your first subscription, because he does coffee subscriptions. And then we'll offer a 20% discount on all coffee subscriptions. So go check roastcoffee.com out. My friend Trent, use the code 2lines. So use the coupon code 2lines, and that will get you 25% off your first order or subscription, and a lifetime 20% discount on all your coffee subscriptions. And I'm telling you, this coffee is amazing. I have an ethics statement for my channel. I decided a long time ago I was just not going to, take something that I did not support or use just because I wanted to, monetize my channel or whatever. That's not who I am. And and I'm going to pass this on to you guys. So I'm excited about bringing Trent on. Roast Coffee, check it out. Remember, coupon code 2lines, and that's it. I'm super excited. Now I'm all up for other sponsorships that are slot core oriented, but we're going to take care of the coffee guys. So let me know if you like coffee. Love to give some coffee out and send it your way. And if you are so inclined and you like the coffee, go to roastcoffee.com and order some coffee. It's amazing stuff. So, all right, that's my plug for my sponsor. Let's get back to slot car racing and slot car talk. So what did I miss in the chat? El Salvador is the Rhode Island of Central America. But they have pretty good coffee. But I'm a fan of the Brazil, since I use an espresso machine, and most espresso blends are a blend, but this is a single origin, and it's fantastic. Seriously, best coffee I've ever had. Stuart Davey, yes, coffee, please. All right. I just had a cup of tea. Wish I had a good cup of coffee. Yeah, Jim, I am. All right, Steve. All right, we've got some coffee drinkers. I love it. So I'll try to take care of some of you. I'll do just a random drawing of everybody who's subscribed to the channel or that was on the live stream tonight. That's probably a better idea. So yes, well, I'll send some stuff. I'll reach out in the next day. You'll hear from me in the next 24 hours, and we'll take care of that. So, hey, Ronan, thanks, man. I'm excited, mostly because it's a great friend of mine, and he sees my vision and is excited about what I'm doing and believes in me, and so I'm appreciative of that. It's really exciting to partner with somebody. And maybe I'll get a free cup of coffee every once in a while when I go in the shop. But I want to pay this. I want to pay this sponsorship forward to all you guys. So I really appreciate you guys hanging out. So. If you set up a race day at the coffee shop, I'd be happy to volunteer time for the event. So, Matt, that's one of the things maybe we talk about that tonight. What does that look like? I know an event can get kind of overwhelming with planning and can get expensive and all those things. But I do have some vision for it, and I have put a lot of thought into an event. I'm a plastic track. It's pretty easy to tear down and set back up. In an hour or two, I could be set up over at the coffee shop. It's a huge space, so there's plenty of room. But I thought it would be great to maybe have like a kids race where I supply the cars and some beater cars and let kids race digitally. And then maybe we have a local area Ohio gathering from the YouTube community. And then after we clear the kids out, then we'll do some analog racing on a great layout and have some fun. So maybe this summer when slot cars seasons wrap up here in the next month or two, maybe by my midsummer we'll be anxious to maybe sneak a race in because I know a lot of slot car tracks take the summer off because it's just hard to get people in. There's so much to do in the summer. So maybe if there's enough time, we can advertise it and let people know, and then make it a kind of a big YouTube meetup. I think that would be fun. Let's see, what else do we have? Probably go a little simpler on the track layout for the first one. Yeah, I agree, Raul. This is probably a little too technical. I think if we could set up an oval I could probably set up 2 tracks. There's so much room, and set up a digital oval for kids to kind of play on and kind of help people. I think it would be great to have a vendor involved, somebody where if somebody wanted to, we could have like a novice class that runs, and it's only people who bought a car that day. We have some people there to help them tune a little bit to get it running around the track halfway decent, and then do just a novice race just for fun. So if I had a vendor involved, somebody that sold slot cars, they'd have a chance to maybe sell a few slot cars, and I know how to. I guess manage these kind of events or put on productions. I have a band. We played music for a long time, and so promoting, I can promote events like this. So I think I could get a decent draw just here locally, but it might be a way to just really, help the slot car hobby in this area gain some traction, because a lot of people hear me talking about it. People at work, my employer. We're thinking about having a slot car night for the employees just to come play. So I think there's some things that can happen. I see Daryl Pinsky being a resident tuning expert. Josh, I think you are right. Daryl would be the first person I would call. If it is for kids, have a crossing. No crash, no fun. Yeah, Jim, I think you're right. George, yeah, small oval. I agree. No live free or die, New Hampshire. Okay. Let's chat about the event. Yep, that sounds good, Matt. Yeah, you're close enough that it would be an easy drive to come over here. Let's see. Roll, what's the fun in that? You need to test the CU in location before you try digital. Sometimes there's too much interference in some commercial buildings. This building, there's not a lot going on in it, but that's a great point, Billy. I appreciate that. I never thought about having to deal with interference. So yeah, that's a good thought. I'll keep that in mind. Thanks, John Mark. I'm trying. I am trying to improve.
This elbows run pretty sweet.
Are you starting to get the hang of it?
Yeah.
Hey, let's okay, John Mark is bragging about how fast he's moving in the elbow.
I'm
Let's
not
put him on.
bragging.
Let's put him on the camera. Hey, better yet, I'm just going to walk over with the camera and give you guys a rundown. You guys want to see a rundown of the layout? So let's make it happen. Yeah, so my layout is 8 foot by 24 feet, and it's got a couple places that are trouble. You've got the hairpin here. Oops. How about with that? You got the hairpin here. Underneath that is kind of a trouble spot for marshalling. We come out of the slot a lot there, mainly because it's kind of a blind turn. Got two nice flat big radius turns here on the end. Yeah, pretty exciting stuff. Got the high bank down here. Let's see.
Yeah.
All the ends up on its top. Are you inside or outside?
Inside.
So I'm running Smart Race. Oh, John Mark, you didn't start the event. It's not timing your laps.
Oh, well.
Hang on, I got you.
Huh? I get it.
I got it. Okay, so now you can
This
see.
delay messes with you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what's happening. Looks like the camera may have died on me. So I'll come back here. I don't know if you got any of that footage. How long do you think it will be before he realizes? You must be talking about my camera lost connectivity, probably. The track cam. Oh, so now I knew why. Hey, how about this? How about that? I think I was on the wrong camera.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. Thanks, Sean Casey. Appreciate that. So what about this now? So now you should be able to hear me and see video. I won't repeat all the things that I talked about, but all right, so a little rough. Little rough. That's all right. We survived. Take two. Thanks, Clint. Yeah. That's much better when you grab the right camera, the camera shot. So I have a webcam that's like a regular track cam. It's just a stationary webcam. But then the phone cam is the one that is here. So, yeah, it was just... I moved to the wrong baby steps. So good stuff. Yeah, Ronan, thanks. We like the track. It's fun, but it has some issues. So we've been running a lot of non-mag, and the high bank really is not made for non-magnets. So for no mags. So which is the faster. I'm not as good as you, Raul, with the footage, man. I'll get there one day. I aspire to have footage like yours. Sean, the inside lane is a touch faster than the outside lane, mainly because of that the big high bank
Hairpin too.
and the hairpin. When you come through the hairpin, you're on the inside lane of the hairpin, and it's really tight, so you lose a lot there. But I'm probably running. I think my Elva is running 9.3s fastest lap on the inside lane, and about 9.6 or 9.7 on the outside lane. But they are even lane lengths. They just one is a lot faster than the other. The outside lane gets the outside of both big turns, so it just feels like it's a longer lap, even though the length is the same. It's a learning process, John Mark. All good. Thanks, George. I appreciate that. That Ninko X slot, though. Josh, you see it? It's right here on the shelf. It's coming back to you. Josh, I'm afraid to tell you what kind of lap times the X slot is running on this. It is not. It does not like this track. It didn't hook up very well on this track. So, but what a neat car. Very, very cool. It's a very cool car. It runs about 13-second laps on this track. Hey, Lineface, thanks, man. I'm trying to. A lot of people ask to see actual racing on the live stream, so now I have the ability to actually show some racing. So that's what's exciting about this. Marty, I really like your track. I just want to be able to run analog as well. I've been planning a 4-lane routed track. Danny, I think it's really cool.
If Dusty was here, we could race.
Yeah, that's right. If Dusty was here, we could do some racing. Danny, that's cool. I think it would be fun to build a routed track. I want to build a 4-lane analog track. And I reached out to Polycar. I would love to have one of their get a hold of one of their 4-lane starter kits. I know Dave Kennedy said just go to LEB and order all the parts for it, and pay 4 times what the set probably costs. That's my fear, and so I'm trying to. I
need a lot more sponsorships.
Yeah, I need a lot more sponsorships to make that happen. But I think it would be great. A 4-lane analog would be fun. I've got some extra space. I didn't give you a tour of the whole basement, but there's actually other rooms here. So potentially could put another track down here, or even there's a room this direction. So we have some options. So let's see here. But Danny, I appreciate that. But I'm with you. I would really like to have a 4-lane analog. Gary, I have a couple 124 scale cars up here, but none of them belong to me. I haven't ventured into the 124 scale yet, but I'm getting there. How I'm going to dive into the 124th scale is by doing some scratch building with George and Raul. We're going to build something for Harry's event in July. So that's my goal, is to my first scratch build. I'll send to Harry and be embarrassed by its performance, but that's the plan. John, the space and the walls are very definition of a man cave. Yes, John, this house, it's an 1897 Victorian house. It sits right next to where the Ohio Erie Canal was. So it's early days. It got to see work on the canal, which is really pretty cool. But yes, it's an old stone foundation, but it's dry as a bone. And we're very, very fortunate to have an old house that has a halfway decent basement that is not full of water most of the time. Much better than my track shots last night. Jim, I was a little prepared, maybe a little more prepared than you were. Lion, that's a good question. Why doesn't the high bank suit non-magnet? Well, I'll tell you that if you stop in the middle of the high bank, the non-mag cars usually fall out of the slot. It's steep enough that gravity wins out. And what we find is if you wobble at all in that high bank, you're probably coming out of the slot. It's a very fast part of the track, obviously. And I think we've figured out how to drive it pretty well, but it does present some problems for non-mag. Now, mag racing, high banks are fun. They really extend your straightaway. So it's like you really get you get to mash down the throttle, and it's a lot of fun. Sean, the inside lane on the straight. Okay, thanks, Dusty, for clarifying. So if you're looking at the straight, it's the inside lane next to the pit lane. Chat's going so fast, you're even having problems keeping up. Bernie, if you're running digital, tell John to run a ghost car or two so there's some competition on the track. Yeah, he's working on his analog no mag racing skills. Plus, he got a couple new cars today. He got the 512 Ferrari Sunoco, and then he got the new NSR GT40 Mark 1. But we're prepping the Elva to come race at Cincy Slots.
I need practice.
And he needs practice. So Gerardo, hey Marty, made it. The Elva is a beautiful beast. I love all my Elvas. You are correct. My Elva was a gift, and it is definitely my favorite car. One, because it was a gift to me, but two, it's super fast and runs great. Here's John Mark's Elva. It's the 97 livery. He picked that up at Cincy Slots on a race night last 2 weeks ago, I think, right? And that's a beautiful livery. That's a great looking car. All right. I noticed you've been using the tire cleaner.
Yeah.
That's handy. I put a video out about that. Hey, Bill Royal, welcome.
Makes a difference.
Yeah, when they break loose, they drop down the banking. I kind of figured it wouldn't. My knowledge, it's completely stock, cool concept, but not a very fast car. And to compare it to the G-Slot compact cars I picked up. Yeah, Josh, it is definitely not super fast, but it is a really cool car. One, it's beautiful, but the chassis work is really, really cool. And I think if you did some tuning to it, Josh, you probably could get it running. But it's your car, not mine, so I didn't touch anything. It's right, Conquest. If you're going to be, if you can get your parts shipped to Canada, you'll be in on the scratch build. Steven, so the bank turns are no good with analog cars. Not necessarily no good with analog cars, but if you race your cars with no mags, they just, high banks are made for magnet digital racing. I feel like lots of wood tracks have banked turns, so it's not like it's bad for analog cars. It's just that if you bobble, if you kind of mess up, you're at a high rate of speed and you're coming out of the slot, or if you stop, they usually fall out of the slot. So that's it. I just think that they're just not as good for no mag racing, not analog. Analog's fine. I mean, John Mark has a couple of his analog cars that still have magnets in them. They fly around the track. It's a lot of fun. Let's see here. The more of the slotted and NSR cars we get, we can't hardly spell digital. Yeah.
10289.
Yep. Starting to bring your lap times down, John Mark.
10289.
Nice. Hey, Jamie. Just stopping in to say, hey, I can't stay, but I'll watch tomorrow. Have fun, everyone. Hey, Jamie, thanks, man. It's been good to talk to you this past week. Appreciate the conversation. Daryl, have John put one of those scaly Vipers on and go fast. Yeah, the scaly Vipers, Daryl, you sent have a lot of magnet. My wife, Kathy, is coffee shopping. What's your code? Nick, it is 2 lines, all one word. TWOLINES. 2 lines is the coffee code. Nick, let me know if you love the coffee. It's all good. If you do pour overs, like the Zambia is good, the Ethiopian is good, the Costa Rica, if they have it, is really good. That's what my kids love. But I am a fan of the Brazil. So, thanks. Sorry, Nick, it took me a minute to get down to your. Yep, thanks, Ronan, for helping me out. Yeah, but I think it's all one word, 2 lines. If you can't get 2 separate words to work, 2 lines, all one word. Hey, grandson of man, welcome. Good to have you. Hey, DeFingers, welcome. Just sitting here rebooting laptops. Nick, I have 3 124 scales. None of my friends are into 124. Yeah, we started in 132nd, and that's kind of what we've built our collection. Commercial cars are very hot motors on a high bank, wood commercial tracks. Yeah, thanks, George. Look at NASCAR line isn't the same for speed. Let's see here. Thanks, Ronan. Brotatio Schmidt Fishing. Brotato. I'm butchering that name. I apologize. But hey, welcome to the live stream. Do you have a track part list for the track that you own? I enjoy designing tracks too. Happy to design some track ideas if you're happy for me too. Lionface, that's awesome. I can give. That's what Jamie's working on for me too. Yeah, I'm happy to. That would be great. I can send you what track I own. I'm getting ready to buy some more track. I need a bunch of 230 track. So I'm getting ready to buy some. About 350 grams on the magnet meter, or what's that thing called? The Magnet Marshall. 350 grams. Ooh, they do. I know that they were sticking pretty good when I was doing some laps the other night. John Albright, Sunday slots, they become an issue with low slung cars. Yeah, they sure do. They drag, like the back of your car will drag if it's too steep and too short of a radius. So like I think they make an R2 high bank, and a lot of cars from Carrera drag. You have to modify the car to work on those. Chris said she loves coffee too. That's awesome. Phil, just finished my 70-foot Carrera track, having fun, but I like to do an analog. What's your recommendation? Pit stop. Pit stop, Phil. You'd like to do, well, so there you have a couple options. If you can find a tech slot box, you can chip the lanes and run analog. That's what I'm doing, thanks to George. But then I've been talking to Jim Cunningham about the Omni slot box. And I think that's a great way to go if you want to run motors that, I think on that you can run about anything, even like really hot motors. So if you plan on doing some scratch building, that's probably a better option, the Omni slot box, especially since the tech slot box isn't being made anymore. It's kind of hard to.
9902.
All right, here comes John Mark, 9902. Here, I'll throw the track cam up so we can watch John Mark come out of the slot just as we went to this. Just till we went. So my recommendation, if you want to build a separate analog, I don't know. You could build a wood track. You could Polycar, even Carrera. You could buy parts to convert your Carrera to analog, but you'd have to pull all your lane changers out and things like that. So I don't know if that really answered your question, Phil. Sorry. No, you said it right. Okay, great. Thanks. 99% of Carrera digital cars will work on high bank turn 230 or above. Billy is a Carrera dealer. He would know the facts. But I feel like a lot of the boxes show no 230 turns. So they give a lot of warnings, but maybe that's just because they don't want people calling them to complain. Carrera tends to not want to upset anybody, so they're real careful. All kinds of warnings in the 40-page pamphlet that comes with a slot car. I've yet to have a car, analog or otherwise, slip on a bank unless I'm driving too slow. Yeah, Bill, that's kind of what we were getting at is, if you just drive too slow, that no mags won't. What happened back here, John Mark? I heard the pit stop take off. Did the computer freak out? Commercial track cars also run much quicker and require downforce from the Lexan bodies. Nice to see Bill sticking together. Bill Army, brother. I have a bank turn for my Skeletrix, and it works. It works a treat. I understand that it's lower bank compared to Carrera. Yeah, I mean, it's not that we're having problems with it. It just seems like for no mag racing, there's not a lot of banked turns, so we'll probably pull the bank turn out at some point. Yeah, he's running some great laps. Yeah, he's starting to get his lap time down. Tim, yes, the Omni slot box is awesome if you want to run any slot car on your digital Carrera track. Yeah, thanks, Phil. It's just the Omni. It's a little more of an investment, but Jim talks about if you end up chipping 40 of your cars, you've already paid for it. Or if you have 40 cars in your collection, you're trying to chip them all to make them work on a digital. No 130 curve. I think I said 230, Bruce. I'm looking for some 230s. Some drag on 230, but if you're racing digital and only the bottom of the car gets scratched up, consider yourself lucky. This is true. That's a great point, Billy. Tate. Daryl, is Tate in the... Hey, all right, Tate. I missed that. Tate is getting fast, man. Tate's a young man we met at Cincy Slots that started racing down there the same time we did, and he kicked my butt last week. We were there. So, Tate, great job, man. You're getting fast. Yeah, he's on the stream. Bro Tato Schmidt Fishing is his screen name.
Seriously.
Yeah, that's good. Thanks for pointing that out, Tate. I'm glad you're on the live stream. This is great. Hoping that maybe I can get down there this Thursday, but definitely next Thursday. So hopefully you're there racing. I'm curious to know what kind of car you got for the vintage class. So what are you racing? Or are you racing Team Daryl Penske? Gary, I ran my 124s on 415 banks, no problems. Yeah, no, I think the bank turns for 124s would be a lot of fun. Analog life, ha ha ha. It's Steven. That's great. The warning should be 130, 160. Gotcha. Okay, I understand what you were trying to say now, Bruce. Thanks. Appreciate the clarification. More like fast Tato. That's right. Yes. Yeah, Tate's getting fast. I don't know. How many laps did you have this past week? You had 42 and like 3/4 2 weeks ago when we were there. So I know I finished just across 42 in a couple of turns. So you had me by 2 or 3 turns. That was good. Alex, look me up if you're interested in a digital analog box. I've made my own. Yes, Alex mentioned that last week, and then on one of my videos that he's interested for a very reasonable price and wants some ideas and input from others. So if anybody's interested in their own digital analog box, contact Alex Duncan. If you're serious, we can strike a deal. Yeah, I think if you can find the schematic out there, if you know how to solder, I think that you can make it happen fairly easy. But there's just a lot of guys that are nervous about like tearing into their computer unit. And Daryl, did you see Dave Kindig's 52nd birthday cake? It was golf livery. It's funny. Let's see, Marty, what's the fast time on your track? So Clint, I keep track. I use Smart Race, and I'm using, when I run an analog, I'm using their analog timer. which actually works really, really well. You just can't get in front of it or shake the track because it senses the movement because it uses the camera in the Connect app. But the beauty of it is Smart Race keeps track of all your laps that you run as long as you're assigning the car properly in the app. And you can go back and look at the car, and it will give you all of the lap times. And so no magnet, analog. 9.1 is the fastest lap, which is a slotted LMP golf livery. And it's a fast car. I was running 9.1s, 9.2s, pretty consistent. And then, let's see, my 908, Porsche 908 was running 9.2s, 9.3s, 9.4s. My GT40, slotted GT40 is running in that same area. And so are the, let's see, what else? 9.5s. My sideways is running 9.5s. The M1.
Turn a 9.5.
John Mark, you just ran a 9.5?
Yeah.
Nice. And so John Mark's Elva's running 9.5s. I'm running 9.2s with my Elva.
I think we're going Thursday.
So yeah, we've got we're just about to break the 9 barrier. So that's what we're doing there. Magnet, we're running in the 7s. Like 7.2, 7.3 is the I think my brother's car. The Formula One, Carrera Formula One cars are running in the mid 7s. What else? Daryl's Honda Civic runs mid 7s.
9.7.
Trying to think of what other cars. Oh, the Revo slots. I have a couple of Daryl's Revo slots, and I've been running some laps with those, just trying to get used to driving those cars. Man, you can really drive those cars into the corner. Real impressed with those. But they're running 9.4s, 9.5s, 9.6s. So yes, Ronan, the Smart Race app can keep analog times. So what I do with my cars is I put them all in the library, and then I say whether they're digital or analog, magnet, non-magnet. And then on your track records, you can do some filtering. So I can say, what are all my track records? What are my non-mag track records? What are my analog track records? So you can do some filtering. But using the Smart Race Connect app, you can time analog by setting up. Let me show you. I'll just walk down there with the other camera and show you. As long as I've got the right one. So this is what it looks like timing. It keeps track of your laps. But here's how the lap counter works. So it uses a picture or the camera using the Connect app. And as the car hits a hot spot, sort of like a motion detector on a security system. So you've got 2 zones, one for lane 1 and lane 2. And when the car crosses over, it keeps track of your laps. So that's how that works. So that's how that works. Pretty slick. I got you. So that's how it uses the Connect app. The other thing that the Connect app does that we love when you're racing digital is you can put your headphones in and choose your controller in the Connect app, and it will give you your own pit radio. So worth the extra money per month that I pay for Smart Race. I will pay for great things, and that is a fun, great thing about the Smart Connect app, which is a free app, but to be able to use it. Hey, thanks to Fingers. That's awesome. Marty, can you use any inexpensive tablet with that? You can use an iPhone and an iPad, and I believe you can use an Android. I think there's an Android app for the Connect app as well. So you might check the Google Store, George. But it's really easy to set up. It takes like 30 seconds. When you launch it, you just go connect to the server, and it's really pretty slick. It does a great job. Probably Daryl's cars until my car I got for vintage month is faster. I won't race it, but I might. I will definitely bring my Superbird Thursday. Also like the track. Looks nice. Thanks, Tate. Tate, maybe one day we will host a 2 lines race here, and you guys can come up from Cincinnati. That would be fun. George, yes, we can definitely talk about that. You definitely need a lap counter so you can time. I was going crazy, and I thought, wait, I'm using Smart Race. I know that they have an analog timer. It's made for like Carrera Go tracks, but that's why they put it in the app. But you can use it for any analog. And what I love about it is it still keeps track of all your laps for the car. So I can go back in and look at the car stats. I'm a big stats guy. I love stats. That's why I'm a marketing guy. And so I can go and I can say, I did 125 laps with my Elva tonight, and I can look at all my lap times that I ran, and I can see like that when I went off out of the slot. I can really analyze my laps and see how a car really is performing. Smart Race is fully supported. Cyberg, thanks. I believed that it was. I'm not an Android guy, so I've never tested it, but it works fantastic on the iPad. I love it. I think it's a fantastic. Josh Reed can confirm both Smart Race apps are available on Android, supported Android 5.1 later. Great. Thanks, Josh. Thanks, Ronan. Appreciate that. Nick, I want to mirror it to the TV in the room also. Okay, so what I do to mirror, we're running the live stream on the TV tonight, but normally I'm an Apple guy, so I have an Apple TV plugged into my TV on the wall, and I just mirror the iPad in TV mode up to the big screen. So it works really well. You have a Galaxy 5 tablet running the app. Great. Fantastic, Nick. So yeah, then you could download the Connect app, which is free. So it costs money monthly to do that. So once you buy Smart Race, everything is free, except for there are add-ons. So if you want to do weather and tire simulation, that is an add-on. The pit radio and the server to run analog timing is $2.95 a month. So it's not super expensive, but that opens up all of the add-ons for $2.95. So you get everything that's available in the app. And I'm willing to support an app that continues to make improvements. So I don't know the person. I've never met or talked to the guy who does Smart Race, but man, I love to brag about it. I think it does a great job for the money and the price. It's way better than the Carrera app. The Carrera app is awful. But what I'll do is I'll do a video. I have a video out there of like the basics of Smart Race. I think it's the 5 things I love about Smart Race, but I'll do an update video here soon and kind of go through the things I've discovered since I've done that video. The cars library and being able to go in and look at the details of how many laps you've run with your car. As long as you're assigning the car to the controller in the app like you're supposed to, it will keep track of, like I've got like 10,000 laps on my on my 917K Carrera, and they're all logged in there, which is awesome. So Ronan asked, what does the pit radio do? So the pit radio it only announces, so the Smart Race app announces your race. Marty is in the lead. John Mark is in the lead. Marty needs to pit. And then what the pit radio does is it only gives you your controller's audio. So only when the announcer announces things, if you do the yearly smart race, everything is available. But it only announces things for your controller, because everything is kind of works in the digital world, works off the controller, right? So, when you open up the Connect app, if you're controller 1, you choose controller 1, and then you listen to your pit radio. So anytime you cross the start-finish line, it will announce it. It will tell you your lap times. It will tell you how much fuel you have, and then it will tell you what place you're in. And so it's like having your pit crew talking to you in your head, so you know when to come in for. What's up, John Mark?
I was going digital and fire that radio up.
Oh, that's cool. Did you figure out how to do it?
I'm working on it.
Yeah, flip that box.
Yeah, I did that.
Turn it off and flip it up to digital. Okay.
I'm going to have to kill my stream to radio up.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, the radio is a really cool for us. Does fuel level, time, position, I believe. Can't remember what else. So if you're doing like tire simulation or weather simulation, it gives you a weather report. It tells you that rain's coming in potentially, and so that you can go in and get your wet tires versus your dry tires. It's really it's pretty slick, and it's worth $30 to keep supporting this guy, making improvements. He just did some improvement on how it calculates your fuel in digital. So of course all those things do not work when you're timing with analog, but you don't need it to, right? So you're analog. Yeah, it is a great app. Highly recommend it. So George, it only does lap counting and timing for analog timing. It doesn't do any of the digital stuff. So you have to turn fuel off and disable fuel in the settings when you flip over to analog, but it's not that big of a deal. You're interested? Yeah, let's talk afterwards. I can kind of explain everything to you. The only platform Smart Race isn't supported officially is Windows. There's a workarounds, but it would take some additional work on your end. Probably would require troubleshooting. I don't think it's probably too much trouble to gain all that to run on Windows when you can. There's other free apps out there to run digital if you want. Like what Bruce is running on his track works great. It manages the fuel. Doesn't need to hear how slow he goes. Yeah, I don't think it's. Take care, Tate. Hey, John Schaefer, welcome, man. Hey, John, I really enjoyed your video this past week. That's a pretty car. John Mark was running his on the track behind me earlier. The Ferrari. It's a beautiful car. Are you running the Expo?
Yeah.
You need new tires in that Expo.
I know.
We'll try those tires here in a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Hey Richard, thanks. Good to have you. No problem. Good one, Daryl. Would the cheapest iPad work? I believe I'm running on a pretty old iPad, and it runs on probably a 6 or 7 year old iPad that I have. I think. Yes, the cheap iPad will work. Yes. Oh, if it's a new cheap iPad, the cheapest version, the $399. Oh yeah, it works great on that. Good luck with those wheels. Since I now have gear puller pusher, I'm going to up my soldering. I run it through my Amazon Fire tablet. Cool. Does yours grind the gears? John Mark, did your Ferrari grind the gears? Your 512? No? Yeah, John, we didn't. He didn't have any problems. The gear mesh was pretty good. I took it apart and lubed it and did some adjusting on it just to let it get around the track.
All right,
but
I ain't smart enough here. So.
What's wrong?
I don't know. I'm trying to put me back on 5 controller, right?
Yeah, year 5.
So that expo, save, start.
Yep. Patrick. Hey, Patrick, welcome, man. Yeah, it's a great app. George, I'll send you some screenshots so you can see what the cars page works like. It's really pretty slick. Area 51, the cheapest iPad would probably be the best tablet option to use if you wanted to go that direction. Apple's great with supporting older hardware coming from an Android guy. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, Josh, I would agree. I think the app was created for the iPad and then it was ported over to Android, which means it has the same functionality, but I think there's probably less problems. It has some quirks. Every once in a while, it kind of freaks out if the CU freaks out. But outside of that, yeah, I did loosen the motor pod. So if I did that before I even ran a lap, so that might be it. I've watched so many of your videos. Thank you for all the information I've learned from you. There you go, John. I think John was wondering if people were paying attention to his channel, but it's obvious that we were. And I think you still have a lot to say, John. It's just my opinion. Yep. That's good stuff. Good stuff. Thanks, Josh. I'm an Apple iMac 24, so it makes sense. Yep. Let's see here. John Schaefer, I love your channel. Just ran my Ferrari 512 PPE after watching your video. I love this community. This is great stuff. Oh, what else are we talking about? It's like almost 10 after 9. Anything else we want to cover? I do have something. I do want to throw out a question. And I talked to Daryl about this earlier today. You're shorting out the track somehow, John Mark. With something. You have to turn that phone off.
I'm trying.
There you go. You just have to disconnect it from the server. That's funny. There are some quirks with running the Connect app in analog mode. Nothing major, but when you go back to digital, you have to turn the timer off or it freaks the computer out. John Mark just discovered that. Good soldering video for hobbyists. Steve, George, Area 51, has some great soldering videos. I would check out his channel. And then I watched one that was just about soldering. It wasn't slot car related, that I learned a lot. Clint, Raul just got done watching your video tonight. That's awesome. Let's see. Yep. John Schaefer, keep them coming, man. So I was talking to Daryl earlier about this, and I want to throw it out. And I'll tell the story. We were racing the 124 scale digital at Cincy Slots the first night, and Daryl let us borrow a couple of his 124 scale cars, and they were not the right class, but they let us run anyway, and we were appreciative of that. But man, we could not keep anybody behind us, and these cars were stock cars, running stock Carrera motor, but they were a lot faster. Definitely seemed like they had more torque. And so I started diving down the rabbit hole of motor prep. So what are you guys doing to your motors? Nobody wants to talk about that. Like, lots of people will tell us all the basic stuff with tuning. Hey, you need to adjust the motor pod. Hey, you need to do this. Hey, you need to run silicone tires. Hey, you need to do this. Here's some tire prep. But nobody really talks about motors and break-in motors and what they're doing. But I sort of started doing some research on that. So I want to throw that out. How many of you guys are breaking in your motors before you show up to the track if you're racing? Now, if you're racing around the house, on your track here, I mean, you probably don't need to do that. But I did about a bunch of research, and it's an interesting, there's lots of different theories on how to break in a motor. But it all has to do with getting the brushes broke in around that the comm, and making nice contact so it draws more amperage, which Run your motor in a vat of WD-40 for 12 hours. Okay. So I've heard that. A lot of people do that. I've heard people do it in some kind of silicone oil. I've heard a mixture of a couple things, WD-40 and I think I heard alcohol, which I thought was interesting. So Nick asked the question, does anybody have any good motor break-in videos? So I don't know this channel very. There's a channel called Cleve Tech, and the guy is British. I think they do a bunch of flexi racing and things like that over in the UK. So if any of our UK guys that's there in bed asleep, but they might know of Cleve Tech. But he has a video that he breaks the motor in water, which tells me that it probably breaks the motor in faster, so you're not doing it for 12 hours. But you really have to keep an eye on it in water. But water can cause all kinds of things. But it's a great video, and he shows he starts with a 22K motor or 21K motor, and after he broke it in, that 21K motor was running 26,002 RPMs just by breaking it in, and that's interesting. Josh, I know people break them in. My break-in is when I put the car on the track for the first time after adding weight. Well, Josh, I think that's the fun way to break in a motor, right? Is just getting laps in. And that's what you should do. But so under WD-40, yeah, I see a lot of WD-40. Carreras 124s are usually slower than 132nds, but these 124 scales cars, I couldn't keep them behind me. They were passing me pretty easy. And so I figured that it had to do with motor prep. That was the only thing it could touch. They couldn't change the guide. You could put silicone tires on it. There was no body float allowed. There was, the rules. It was pretty much box stock. It had to be break the motor in. Glue motor with shoe goo. So Sean, help me out with that. So what does gluing the motor down in the pod do? Just to keep it from flexing in the pod? I'm really curious about that because I've heard a couple people say that glue the motor, but I don't understand what gluing the motor would do. So if somebody can explain that to me, that would be awesome because I'm all ears. Josh, I think I put that up there. Break it in. The commutator. Thanks, Danny. I was searching for the word. I just did a 3 volt for 4 hours, then went 9 volt for 4 hours. Nick, did you do that in WD-40? Stop carbon forming on brushes. Yep, Cleve Tech. Yeah, Dan, that's the video I watched, and it was really good. He's got another video that I'm super fascinated. I need some recommendations on controllers too. I need to buy an analog controller, and I've talked to Jim at DeFalco, but he's got kind of a long waiting list. 10 days to 2 weeks to order one. I know if I had ordered it when I first thought about it, I would have it by now. But so I'm trying to decide. Anybody have any recommendations for controllers? But Cleve Tech has a really cool modification for the controller, and it's anti-brake, and I recommend going out to watch that. I think it would be fun mod for the controller. So it's not no brakes, it's not brakes, it's anti-brakes, and he explains it. Cleve did a reverse run break-in, also a little difference. Grandson of man, Daryl and I were talking today, and he's like, some people say run it forward for top end, run it in reverse for torque. I think maybe I've got those backwards. Hey, Mad P, welcome, man. Glad to have you. Let it run on your home 14 volt 4 hours. I think the one thing about the water is the color of the water changed, so you knew that you were breaking down those brushes, and so you can kind of go by what color the water was. And so that was kind of, I did dielectric. What's wrong?
Password on it.
It's a pattern. I don't remember.
I couldn't get it out of analog.
That's the server if you wanted to do that.
I logged on, but I couldn't get it out analog. It keeps saying if I go here.
Well, it's
Turn that off.
Smart race. And then you probably need to go into settings.
I'm sorry.
No, you're right. And then fuel simulation, turn that on. Something's not right.
Can I go back to stream? That's all. Oh. That damn button.
Hit the call switch. Sorry, guys. John Mark was struggling with the track. So let's go back. Submerge motor and super glue. All right. I'll try that tonight, Billy. That sounds like a great idea. Prevents shimmy. Okay, John, thanks. So the shimmy in the motor pod. Okay. Gluing the motor stops vibration. Thanks, Gary. It maintains your gear connection flex. That would have been my guess, but I'm happy somebody explained it. Gluing the motor in the pod helps it from popping out. I have a couple cars, mainly magnet, where I had to do that a lot because it kept popping out. Yeah, that makes sense. I've had a few that do that, reducing vibration. Okay. And liquid yet, but use Magic Arc Pro and run at low RPM until I hear faster RPM and bump up till about 75%. Thanks, grandson of man. That's good. You do shoe goo. It doesn't take motor mount screws to hold the motor solid. Okay. Okay. So if you have the extra motor mount screw, that probably helps too. Not that long. DeFalco reach out. Oh, is this the app? Okay. Let's go back to the app, the Smart Connect app. So what the Smart Connect app will do. So it will announce the laps. If John Mark can stay in the slot.
I can stay in the slot.
So here, I'll put it up here so you can see. So it'll give you lap times. That's a great lap time, 55,495, John Mark. It gives you lap count. So that's all visual on the screen. And then you can see where your fuel gauge is. So it gives you all that information just visually, what place you're in, what lap you're on. But then it will announce the laps as you...
Lap 3.
Lap 3. Let's see what else does it do.
Lap 4. Lap time 13.202.
There you go. So very, very cool. And then it gives you the 13.002. It gives you your best lap, your last lap. And that's, so yeah, the pit radio is really cool for digital racing. You had to go down the race app rabbit hole. George, I owe you since I've been down the scratch build rabbit hole researching. Josh Reed, if you want to order a Falco, which I do like mine, I have a 2-pot Professor motor controller you can borrow while you're waiting for your analog controller. Josh, that would be awesome. I will take you up on that if that is available until mine comes in. Bruce might have some of the true speed in stock. So I may pick up one of those, but I already know that I would want to do some mods to that if it's possible. Brushless motors for slot cars. Bricks, I don't know that anybody's gone that route with brushless motors for slot cars. I don't know. I guess they would. I mean, it seems like everything's going brushless now. Let's see. Is there a difference in breaking a car in all at once or over time with regular usage? Matt, I think it comes down to breaking the motor in just gets you to that place where it's drawing more amperage because of the brushes are contacting the commutator, if I'm pronouncing that right, more. And so that's a bigger draw, which means that the motor will run faster. That's in its basic terms. I would go watch that Cleve Tech video because it's amazing. It's like 21,000 RPMs, and then all of a sudden, after he broke it in, the thing's running 26,000 RPMs and drawing more amps, more amperage. So you can just kind of watch the amperage start to grow as that brush breaks in. It was really interesting. It looks like George may have posted that, a link to that video. So let's see here. All links are breaking in motors. Thanks, George. That'll be another rabbit hole to go down. Dusty, it doesn't work when he flies off the track. Yeah. So it's your individual. Ronan, yes. You run the Connect. So everybody, the Connect app is free. So if you have 10 people, they can all jump on and be connected to the Connect app. And when you're watching the Connect app, it also has a command center. And I can manage a race as like a marshal in the app too. It's really handy, very slick. I think it's brilliant. Great use of the APIs that Apple puts out there for Bluetooth, and it's awesome. It sounds like a speak and spell. That's right. And Dusty says, makes a great point. You can change your brake control from the app for digital. So instead of doing it at the computer, at the CU, and in the app, you can do it right from, you can't control your speed, but you can control your braking. So John Mark brought it back over. You can tell it, let's see here, where's the braking? If I go here, you can adjust your brakes. So there's a slider, you can adjust your brakes. If you go out here, this is how you select your controller. So if you're on controller 1, you would select controller 1, and then it would give controller 1 stats. So, and then the race control gives you a call button, and then you can call the virtual safety car out, and then you can do weather and change the weather on the fly, so you can control the whole race. Yeah. I didn't realize we were going to jump into the Smart Race app, but fantastic. It really is such a cool... and then that's where you see the analog sensor mode. That's where you set up the camera to be your timing. So it really works great. Let's see, what else did I miss? John Schaefer, great Sunoco Ferrari video. Yep, Jim, I agree. That was a great video. My guy on Smart Race sounds... what is it? Sounds like the Count from Sesame Street. Dusty doesn't serve bourbon when you're at the race. That's funny. So that would be able to take place of the driver's displays. Yes, exactly. That's what it replaces. And I think the Carrera driver's displays still work in working with the app. But it just gives you way more information than just what your fuel gauge.
That's cool.
Let's see here. Can you use your iPad camera for the sensor? Yes, but I don't think you can do it the same time that you're running. You can't run the Connect app and the Smart Race app on the same device. It needs a separate device for that camera. So, yeah, Clint, no problem. Yeah, it was like this live stream was sponsored by Smart Race, but it was not. But yeah, it was good to talk about that. I just think if you're a digital racer or even an analog racer on Carrera, it makes a lot of sense. It's a great app, and it's not. We spend a lot of money on slot cars and lots of other things to go with the track. Spending, I don't know, I forget what the total cost of the app is, but I'm spending $29 a year to have all those extra features, worth every penny. Yeah, you would need your iPhone, or some other device that could do it. I've got an old iPhone that I'm using that's kind of out of service. It's in airplane mode, but I've got it hooked up to the Wi-Fi, and it's working. It's working great. So, yeah, good stuff. Smell that coffee. Now I want a cup of coffee. So, guys, this has been great. I've really enjoyed the conversation. We're wrapping up about 90 minutes. Yeah, Clint. Yeah, I would take a look at it. If you have any more questions, man, just send me a message. My email address is thet5guy@gmail.com. I don't have a graphic to throw that up, but I'm pretty easy to track down. So it's pretty easy to get a hold of me. And don't forget, guys, if you want some coffee, make sure that you posted that you're interested in the coffee, and I'll get those out this week to some people. I'll throw all the names in a random generator and send some people some coffee. But if you would like, go to Rost. I'll throw it back up one more time before we close out tonight. Go to roast.com. There you go. roastcoffee.com, and go check them out. Trent is a great, great guy. If you're ever in Chillicothe, you definitely have to stop by that coffee shop and hang out. Amazing coffee. They also have some great food. Where they're at is called the Fort Collective, and it's just a really unique building with some cool other businesses in there, and they've got some shared office space. So really good. But use the code 2lines, and you get 25% off your first order. And that's pretty inexpensive for fantastic coffee. I mean, you guys know how much a pound of coffee costs. It's super expensive now. So that's a great deal. So I hope you enjoy that. Support Trent because he's supporting me, and I'll pay it forward to you guys. I promise. This is not coming to me. It's all coming out to you. So I just appreciate you guys being a part of it. We'll wrap up the live stream for tonight. We'll be back next week. I've got some more videos planned. Hopefully I get them out this week. I'm doing some reviews of some of these cars before I have to give them back to Daryl and Josh. And guys, it's been fantastic. I love it. So much fun. It's great talking about Smart Race tonight. 2 lines is the coupon code. John Mark had some fun, got some laps in on his Alva. We'll be ready for Cincy slots come next Thursday. And it's all good. Guys, peace out and have an amazing time racing. Let's go.